Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for our first of our end of year episodes recapping 2024. What a year, ladies and gentlemen, in music, in concerts, in album releases, in news. But let's first get to what we are talking about today in this episode, ladies and gentlemen. And before we do that, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and that helps the bands and artists that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR Outfitters.com. Don't just wear RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today is our top five concerts of 2024 that we attended this year. And to give you a little perspective, last year, we got to attend 28 concerts and the Festival International in Louisiana, or in Lafayette, Louisiana, and also South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. This year, we got to go to 27 concerts, also including, or not including, South by Southwest, Festival International. And then also we got to cover and got to experience the 3 days at the Ramble Festival. So one less concert, but definitely more experiences and more bands and artists that we got to see. So let's talk about some of the concerts that we went to that did not make our top five. And I'm just going to go in kind of chronological order. Uncle Kunkel's One Gram Band on March 10th. Spafford. We had Jenny Lewis, Fleet Foxes, Goose, Black Pumas and Lamont Landers, which was a great, great show. Pete Yorn, and then Pete Yorn Acoustic at the Country, or what was it called? The Corner something in Baltimore. That was a good venue too. Kings of Leon, Dispatch, Future Birds, and Dawes and Winnetka Bowling League, which was our last show of the year. So, ladies and gentlemen, the five concerts, I'm going to tell you in advance, it was small venues, big venues, indie artists that you're going to know right away, artists that were touring off albums, artists that weren't touring off albums. So it was definitely an eclectic mix, and I hope that you're going to enjoy these top five in no particular order. Again, this is just chronological, how it went through the year. So our first concert that I'm going to talk about as part of our top five concerts of 2024, drum roll please, was the Cold War Kids show with Joe P opening up for them. The show was on March 3rd at the Fillmore in Philadelphia. I think the Fillmore is maybe around 2,500, 3,000 maybe capacity. The set list, let's talk about it. 24 songs, including a two-song encore. This was for their 20 years tour. And this was pretty toward the beginning. I mean, these guys pretty much toured the entire year. With I think the last show being the middle of November. And this was, like I said, in March. So they did some festivals this year, but it was pretty much touring throughout. So Cold War Kids with Joe P. Like I said, one of my favorite bands, and they did not disappoint on a Sunday night as they played for 1 hour and 45 minutes in support of their fantastic self-titled album that came out in November of 2023. The band was on fire, and the crowd's energy was off the charts at a great venue, like I said, the Fillmore in Philadelphia. Songs like Double Life and Restless hit especially hard, and 12 albums were represented in this set list. 12 albums. This was the 20-year tour, as it was called. And I must say, the pregame drinks at Other Half Brewing, which is right next to the Fillmore, definitely wet the whistle and were delicious. And we met some really cool people at the show, pre-gaming, as well as at the show, some cool couples. So thank you to all of you and to the Cold War Kids and Joe P for our first top five concert of 2024. Our second one, ladies and gentlemen, was at XL Live, which we saw a bunch of shows there this year, being our kind of our home venue as well as close to us. And Tyler and those guys just do an amazing job with that venue. This was on June 22nd, and the band or artist was Xavier Rudd. The opener was Bobby Alou, and again, 11 albums worth of material from Xavier, and highlights for me were Storm Boy, Ball and Chain, Follow the Sun, and Come, Let Go. This Australian multi-instrumentalist on a hot Saturday night in June, like I said, played for over 2 hours by himself on a tour that brought him to the U.S. for the first time in 5 years. He was mesmerizing, he was magical, and I wrote after that show that whenever I have a bad or sad day, I can look back on that concert with a true smile on my face. Bobby Alou not only was the opener, but he also played with Xavier on the few songs that he wasn't playing solo. My good friends from Rehoboth drove 3 hours to join us at this show, and some other friends joined as we all felt so lucky to be a part of this special evening of live music. Xavier Rudd, thank you so much. The third concert of 2024 of our top five, ladies and gentlemen, is at, again, one of our favorite venues in Philadelphia, the Milk Boy. This show happened on 7/11, July 11th, and the band was Uncle Lucius. We did an album review toward the end of last year of their album, Like It's the Last One Left. And of course, they played songs off that as well as all of the hits in a 90-minute set at the Milk Boy, an Austin, Texas band that I have followed since 2013, and a real treat for the band to come to Philadelphia on a full U.S. tour at one of the best music venues in Philly. The band was on fire that night, and after the show, I got to speak at length with lead singer Kevin and guitarist Dogg, and we had some pictures to prove on our social media pages. Yeah, guys, just to give you a little glimpse, I would go see them at South by. Every year we would go at South by. They did not play this past year at South by. And so when I saw, the announcement that they hadn't, or that they weren't playing, I was a little disappointed because I was really looking forward to it again after hearing this album last year. And lo and behold, we're hanging out at, oh man, I forget the brewery. That's terrible. But Kevin, the lead singer, was at this brewery just hanging out. Went over, talked to him. Very affable, very friendly guy, just like after the show, or after this show. And yeah, he said yeah, we're gonna see you in the summer with the U.S. tour. So we'll be hitting the Mid-Atlantic. They did Europe. They're doing, I think, Australia. So these guys have definitely made it big, and I'm so happy for them. Such a great band, Uncle Lucius. So the fourth concert of 2024 and of the top five. If you know anything about this podcast or anything about me, my number two all-time band that I am a fan of is Pearl Jam. And ladies and gentlemen, they got to play again on the Dark Matter tour this year. It covered most of the year again, kind of like Cold War Kids. They had Glenn Hansard open up for them, which I am a huge fan of, and they played at the Wells Fargo Center for 2 nights. One of 2 nights we got to go to. We got to go to the second night, ladies and gentlemen, September 9th. What a show. It was my 16th show, and one of the best, as Pearl Jam has always loved Philadelphia, and Philadelphia loves Pearl Jam. Glenn Hansard, like I said, opening was the cherry on top, as his band was on fire and joined Eddie and the band later in their set. We had 100 level seats, thanks to our friend Gary and his wife, and getting to join a bus full, and I'm going to tell you this, a 15-person shuttle called the Crab Shuttle from Chicky and Pete's, which is this local kind of iconic restaurant. Now it's a chain. They have a bunch of restaurants and bars now in like the Mid-Atlantic area. But Chicky and Pete's, they have this thing called the Crab Shuttle. So you can park at their lot. They're literally like a half mile from the stadiums. And if you're not familiar with Philadelphia, so the Wells Fargo Center is where the Sixers and the Flyers play. That's an indoor arena. And then in that complex is also where the Flyers or where the Eagles play, Lincoln, the Link Stadium, and then where the Phillies play, Citizens Bank. So it's all in the same complex. So this place has this crab shuttle for all sporting events, for concerts, and they pick you up, they drop you off. Well, on the way back, we all of us obviously are all Pearl Jam fans. The driver just so happened to have Pearl Jam blaring on the radio, and all 15 of us, or however many people, were jammed into this shuttle. All were singing at the top of our lungs Pearl Jam songs, which was just that's the most memorable part of that concert, which is funny to me, but it is. It was just a fantastic night. Thank you to Gary and his wife. Thank you to Pearl Jam. And kind of let's get to the set list. It was a 26 song set list. In My Tree, we got Wish List. We got Upper Hand off the new album. Eddie doing Just Breathe was just absolutely fantastic. Crazy Mary, which is always good. Rockin' in the Free World with Glenn Hansard to end it. And then Yellow Ledbetter, of course, to officially end it. The last three songs, I think, had the house lights on. We got Rats, which was a tour debut for the tour at that point. I don't know if they had done Rats after our show, but that was kind of cool to have one of those deep cuts being played. But yeah, Pearl Jam, Glenn Hansard, September 9th, our fourth concert of 2024 in our top five, which means we come to our last concert. A guy that put out just two amazing albums in the past 15 months. And thankfully, on my vacation back in November, we were down in the Low Country going to Charleston, Savannah, Hilton Head, and we just so happened to be treated that Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors were playing at the Tybee Post Theater in Tybee Island, Georgia. Say that 3 times. And it was on November 9th, so the night before my birthday, the first night we got flew into Charleston, had about a 3-hour drive to Tybee. Obviously stopped in Hilton Head to our hotel to kind of check in. But yeah, from there, about a 3-hour trip. Thankfully, no flight delays, no luggage delays, no Turo issues. We were able to get to the show in time, got to meet the proprietor and the manager who gave us tickets to the show, which was awesome. And the show itself, he was supporting Strangers No More, Volume 1 and 2. Like I said, two great albums that he released in the span of 15 months. He told stories, he shared laughs, and he mixed his solo acoustic with the full band during a 90-minute set. The venue only holds 200 people, and of course, it was sold out. We heard an Adele cover and the band cover. And I cried and I got emotional too many times. But tears of joy when you witness a live show like that one. Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors at the Tybee Post Theater. It was part of the Tybee Post Music Festival. That was the third night. And yeah, Drew and the band definitely did not disappoint the crowd. And it was a great first night to our vacation, I got to admit. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our top five concerts of 2024. Cold War Kids at the Fillmore, Xavier Rudd at XL Live, Uncle Lucius at the Milk Boy, Pearl Jam at Wells Fargo Center, and Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors at the Tybee Post Theater. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, what a year in concerts. We hope to do it again in 2025. We're heading back to South by again. I'm not sure if we're going to do Festival International. Hoping that Ramble Festival will be back and we'll get invited to do that again. So at least on the festival circuit, we should have plenty of stuff to do, and we'll just keep bringing you all of the coverage of the concerts that we go to and allow you to try and to experience what we get to experience and what I get to experience when we get to go to these shows and appreciate all of the great music that we get to see and got to see this year. So, ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That is RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast. Happy New Year.